Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be brewing a little pour over coffee. We've got a Guatemalan Geisha from Newav. So this is a washed processed geisha. It's a single origin and it is grown in Guatemala, particularly the region of Antigua. So the tasting notes on the bag are lavender, bergamot and green apple. Now I've had this coffee available on our website for a little while. So this is my personal one and I actually just have it sitting in the freezer, and as you can see it's in a little Ziploc, a vac sealed bag, and that way you can store it for longer. So let's get this set up and yeah, we'll brew a coffee. So I'm just adding my water. So this water is normal drinking tap water in a 5-litre bottle, but I also add my own water minerals to it. So yeah, some baking soda and some Epsom salts to balance out the GH and the KH. Cool. So I'm just gonna open this bag real quick. Feel free to ask any questions if anything pops up. So we're going to weigh our dose. So it's just 15 grams. We're going to give it a spritz of water and a good shake. The spritz of water is just RDT method. That's for making sure that there's not so much static build-up when you're grinding your coffee, which I'm about to do now. Just please be mindful that if your grinder doesn't have coated burrs, just make sure that your grinder is able to handle a little bit of moisture. On the Comandante, they do use stainless steel high nitrogen. I believe it's an alloy burset. So it's it's definitely a burset that will be able to handle a little bit more of humidity, or in this case a little droplet of water. So this is actually the new MK4 grinder. As you can see, it's got the hollowed out inner, these parts here, the little build stabilizers that houses the axle and the jewel bearings. It also has the, I can't flip it. It also has the new BPA-free polymer jar. So this isn't actually glass anymore, like the MK3. Instead, the MK4 now has the polymer. Cool. So that's a new grinder. This is the American Cherry model. If you're wondering, we've got these available on our website. So yeah, let's make a coffee. Hello. Welcome. Guys, if you have any questions that pop up, just feel free to drop them down below and I'll get to them. Alright, so we've ground our coffee. Our water is at 94, 95 degrees. Next step is to get our filter. Today I'm going to be using the Hario switch. That's this dripper over here. It's glass. It also has this tiny little switch just here, which acts as a valve, so you can turn the brewing on and off. This is like an immersion or a percolation brew. So yeah, just going to use one of these filters. This is actually the origami paper filter. It's conical, same size as the Hario V60. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pinch it like that along the fold, pop it down into my dripper, and now that my water's at temperature, I'm going to rinse that out. You can also just close that valve, and as you can see, all the water remains in the dripper itself. That way it better heats it, as well as removing the papery taste, and you actually use up less water when you do this. Cool. Hello, How To Coffee. We're going live over here. We're on a quick geisha coffee. Alright, cool. Our filter has been set. Pop that to the side, and I'm actually going to use this water to preheat my cup. So it's already hot, and give it a quick swirl. Then we put our server down on the scales, followed by the dripper. Tear that all out, and we are actually going to use the coffee that we just ground. So there's 15 grams. The reason why I tear this out is because we actually just want to double check our dose is still the same. Reason being, sometimes there's coffee that is it's maintained, it stays in the grinder, or just good practice to double check that all of the grounds have come out and you're using the dose that you believe you are doing. Save me some in the fridge. This is actually the last of this coffee. This was the last dose that I had of this coffee. It's a Guatemalan Geisha washed. Cool. Got my coffee here. Give it a quick little tap. Make sure the bed's all nice and flat. Pop it back down. And again, we're going to tear that out. Our water's at 95. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to start with 50 grams. And as soon as I start pouring, I'm actually going to start the timer. Alright. And we're at 50 grams on the dot. Give it a quick little swirl, and I'm actually just going to discard of this water. And at 30-second mark after that phase, that's called the bloom. So yeah, we can continue to our second pour of 100 grams in total, so we're using another 50. And I'm just trying to cover all of those darker spots that kind of pop up. Might be a little bit hard for you to see at that angle, but there is these little darker patches that will pop up. Are you doing the 50 gram pour? Yeah, so we're doing 5 50-gram pours. And if anyone's curious on the Comandante, I'm doing 22 clicks, I believe. And as the water has come down and it leaves the bed, we're going to start our third pour. This is up to 150. Awesome. Depending on how your pour is going, I will either continue to swirl. So when I say swirl, it's literally picking up the dripper, giving it a swirl, and that will flatten out the bed a little bit more, especially if you're doing less than, or if you're doing 3 pours or less. Sorry, but yeah, if you're doing 5 pours. The only time that I would swirl after I'd probably keep it to around about maybe 3 swirls total. Cool. This smells amazing. Wish I could describe it to you. So good. Guys, anyone has any questions? How long are you waiting in between pours? So great question, Mr. Rob, How To Coffee. So I'm actually waiting for the water to completely draw down. I'm waiting to see the bed and to see dry grounds raise to the surface. Once that happens, it's a sign that the water is down towards the bottom, and then I'll continue. So this is my final pour. Trying to maintain an even flow. A little bit over, but that's all right. Even flow. And now I'm just going to give my final little swirl. That also speeds it up there and then it kind of starts to slow down. Awesome. Thank you for all the waves and likes and everything. All right, we're going to wait for this to draw down. Because of that final little swirl, it might take a little bit longer, but for this coffee, I've had it before, I don't really mind. It tends to bring out a little bit more texture. So yeah. All right. And yeah, if you're wondering, this is... okay, so this is just finished now. Stop my timer, last drips, and then pop that down. I'm going to put my cup on, tear that out, and we're actually going to weigh our yield this time. So yesterday we didn't, but today we're going to. There we go. Guys, it's as easy as that. 215 gram yield. And I see, what have you found to be a noticeable difference between what have you found to be a noticeable difference between a single pour? Okay, as in like a total single pour brew method. Single pour is a lot faster. There's a lot less contact between the hot water and the actual coffee grounds. So I reckon that's more to do with the texture side of things and the mouthfeel. So it might feel a little bit more heavier, fuller bodied if you do it a 5-stage pour. If you're doing a 1 to a 3-stage pour, you can very easily lose some of that texture. That's my findings, at least. And that's also depending on the coffee. I've had like washed coffees taste really good as a 5-stage pour, but then they taste really bad with that 1-stage pour. And maybe that's because they're a little bit less dimensional than a natural processed or a fermented coffee, and they already inherently don't have as much going on in comparison. But yeah, I hope that helps. Cool. All right. Might wait for this to cool down a little bit, and yeah. It smells floral. It's getting a lot of that floral, fruity sort of texture. It's not so much fruity as in natural, but it's more as in like, I don't know. It's slightly winey. I'm looking forward to this coffee, as it's only my second one today. Guys, if you have any questions, yeah, drop a comment down below. And yeah, what are you guys brewing? Do you guys brew filter? Do you guys have a little espresso machine at home? Do you drink coffee? I'd love to know. That's kind of what we do here. We drink a lot of coffee. It's just me talking to myself now. I love it. Cheers. getting a good view without spilling it. Wow, okay. I'm gonna turn that off. Yeah, nice. It's cheers, broski. It's nice. It's super clean, super fresh. Doesn't have a huge amount of acidity going on, but it definitely has that sweet floral flavor. A lot of texture because of this brew method. I feel like if it was a one-stage pour, it would definitely lack some of that texture and that thickness. But the way that this was being brewed, it's, yeah, I would not floor this brew. I love it. I wish I had more. This entire coffee. It is a little bit expensive, and we were selling it on the website for a little bit. But at the top of my head, I'd say that this would set you back maybe, it was 150 grams, and it was $30. So high 20s, low 30s, I'd say. Which is relatively expensive considering it's not a Panama Geisha. We also have another coffee from this exact farm, and it's Zelaya family, so Santa Clara. In Guatemala, the exact same farm, the same farmer, the same region, but it is it's not a geisha. I believe it is a Catuai, maybe, not too sure, but it's the same farm. It's Guatemalan coffee, and it is washed as well, and it is bussin'. I'd buy it nonetheless. Yeah, it is expensive, but that's alright. It's worth it. So that is starting to cool down a little bit. It does have a lot more of that texture because of that that brew method. But I feel like I'm going around in circles. Is there anything else you guys want to know or see? This live streaming here on TikTok's new to me, so not too sure what you guys want to see. Guatemalan. I had El Pacha's Guatemalan last night, but at a much lower temp. Yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah, so that was the same coffee. So that was from El Pacha, Santa Clara. It's from the exact same farm. It's from the exact same farmer, region, everything. Different variety, and I believe it was processed, because this is a washed process. The other one was also a washed process, I believe. I really think so. I don't have one with me. Actually, yes, I do. Whoa. This one. So this is the same coffee, Ricardo Zelaya, Guatemala, and it is Mandarin Golden Sultana flavor notes. And let me take it out so I can actually see. There we go. Whoops, lost a bean. So that was okay. So we got two varieties here. We've got the Bourbon Villasachi and the Bourboncito. I like that. It's a wash processed, same region, same altitude, everything else. Single origin, light roast. Cool. So yeah, 250 grams, and I believe this was I think I was selling it for low 20, so I think it's like $21-23 on my website, whereas this one a lot more expensive, and you get 150 grams, but this is geisha. So same coffee, completely different coffee, same place that it's grown, so the same characteristics from the region, and the processing method really brings out the differences in the actual variety. So yeah, and it's a really nice cup of coffee. Alright, guys, thanks so much for watching. I think it's just you, Mr. Rob, How To Coffee. I think it's just you and me at this stage. Alright, I'm going to wrap things up. Thanks so much. Just you and me, man. You should have phone called. All right. Have a good one. Ciao. Bye. Bye. Bye.